Hi, I'd like to take my teepee down, but the ground is still frozen and I can't get the stakes out of the ground, so I'm going to do another video where I take the teepee down and show the proper way, or how I put it away, and it just makes for easier setup the way I want to show you how to put teepee away. But in the meantime, I've been asked by my mentor to demonstrate how I start a fire by friction. And to start a fire by friction, we need some very basic tools, and these tools can be found usually anywhere. But the first thing I'm going to start out with is what got me involved with starting fire by friction is this socket that I found, and this is called a fire socket. And this fire socket was made by primitive people in this area at a minimum of 300 years ago, before steel came into this area. These were widely used, and this one is ergonomically designed to fit your hand. This is the actual socket hole, but it fits the hand just properly. It fits in my palm like this, and then on top, the primitive peoples sculpted out this little area for the index finger to press down. So when we're creating this fire by friction, and this is the socket, I use what's called, or this is called, the spindle or the drill. And the socket fits on top of the spindle, and then a bow, this bow, will spin this, and that's how we create the friction to start the fire. So let me go through and talk about some of these other things, but this is really my prized possession, is this socket. And I know it is very old, and it was made by primitive peoples right in this area, because I found it in a creek not too far from here. And I had another one when I was younger, and it had two holes in it. A large one like this, about 3/4 of an inch, and then it had a smaller one right beside it that was 1/4 inch. But over the years I set it aside and have lost it, so it's back to the earth for that fire socket. And I do have a few more, and one of them is sort of pear-shaped, and that's the more common, is the pear-shaped ones. But to keep going with starting a fire by friction, we need what's called our fire board, and that has these dents pounded in it, or drilled in it with the drill or the spindle, and there's a V cut in there going to the center of each of these holes. And as the drill is spinning on here, it creates a burnt powder or a char dust that falls down this V-shaped hole down below. And down below this fireboard, I usually use a corn husk like this, and I'll put it right underneath that hole, and I'll set it like this on another board. And I usually use a couple little twigs, because I want to keep some air down below there, because we all know fire needs air too. And then this is the bow. I just cut a piece of green ash wood and put a cord on it, and the spindle will go, wrap it in here. And here I have some horns, and in these horns I keep my tinder. And in this I have like a nest of straw and leaves and feathers and just little combustibles that will catch fire very easily. And I keep them in a buffalo horn like this to keep them dry, and I usually keep this end covered. And here's another one where I keep my more of just plain char dust, and others that are more combustible, and here's how I open that. And my daughter Angelica braided this beautiful string for it. And there's a little carving of an animal head here on the end of it. And that's carved out of walnut. So if I really want to get precise, I can just dump some of this char dust in like this into this area. But I have the char dust in this bowl right here now. And then I have some other combustibles in this bowl. And these are more just ground up leaves and twigs and stuff. And these turtle shells, this is where I keep my tinder. And I also always keep track of my socket. My socket will be in this turtle shell. This turtle shell is a male snapping turtle, and that's just where I put my socket, down in this pouch. And we can tell it's a male snapper because it's smaller shell and has very distinctive points here. And that signifies that it's a male snapping turtle. And then here we have a large female snapping turtle, and notice this area is flat, so that's how we tell it's a female one. And here I have two big pouches, and in here I keep tobacco and tinder and just other possibles too, and so they keep things very dry too. And so once I get a spark going and I have my tinder going, and then a little rougher tinder here, then back here I have my kindling, and then I use this once I get a good fire flame going and stuff. But this takes a little work, so I'm going to start out here. I'll get some of this finer tinder here, and I'm going to put it under the board. And this is, some of this has been charred before, and then we'll get some of this, just this fine, almost, I have some like charred sawdust down in here, and we'll get that going too. Now to get the fire going, we're going to put the spindle in like this. I always put it on the inside of the cord, give it a twist, and I got that very tight. Get the socket ready. I put my left foot on the fireboard, and I put the spindle down in my dent or hole on the fireboard. Whoops. And there is a lot of tension on that, and I get my socket ready. Got the socket on top, and sometimes if it isn't spinning real good in the socket, I can put a little soap or animal fat in there, and just to keep it lubricated. But I think it'll spin pretty good because it's lubricated. And then I want a pretty straight area to pull here, and I'm just going to start out real slow because put a lot of energy into this, it can take a lot out of you. And I'm trying to use the full length of the bow and string, because that makes less work for me. If I just use a little short piece of it, that's when I'm want to go fast. But I just want to get some of that black char dust built up. And I'm starting to see char dust forming on the board, and maybe you can see that too. Soon we'll start to see little whiffs of smoke. I'm smelling smoke now as we do this, and I'm starting to visually see smoke in our little V slot. So we're going to keep this up. Try to make more char dust, and when I visibly see a lot more smoke, that's when we're going to really spin this faster. More smoke. More smoke. I hope you guys can see the smoke. coming up. I'm going to go a little more. Pardon me. I probably have a live ember down in there, but we're just going to make sure. It's still smoking. Here we got more smoke. One of the main things too is to really need a lot of patience for this. Just let that coal have time to breathe. I hope you notice the smoke. Let's really push it now. More smoke. Plenty of char dust coming up. Here we go. I hope you can see the char dust. Okay. Can hardly breathe. Oh. Whew. Oh, I can't breathe. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go. Woo. Well, start blowing on here. Get down a little lower. I think I got a good coal. Whoa, whoo, woo. Oh, see, folks, I'm burning my hands. But there you go. Ow! There you go. Ow! Ow! Yeah. We got it started anyway.